next we have it's time for sex. Let's talk about sex. Shout out to Salt and Pepper. Um, Today I wanted to address some things surrounding the idea of what they call gender dynamics in sex, like ways or things for men and women to be keeping in mind as they are approaching the actual act of sex. This is really prompted in large part by just sort of this barrage of reminders that women are not having enough orgasms in their sex, especially with men. And that's something that I am personally and professionally invested in changing. It is my belief, like my serious belief, that black women especially, having orgasmic lives is a very important part of the revolution. That we will not succeed in liberating the world from capitalism and colonialism if women are not experiencing the level of pleasure that they deserve in their lives, and thereby accessing the level of divine wisdom necessary to bring into their personal lives, their families' lives, and to the community that we need to save the world, save the earth, save the human species. Like, it's just that deep. So I think it's really useful to think about the traditional Chinese concept of yin and yang when it comes to approaching sex for men and women. Women being mostly yin, men being mostly yang. Yin being receptive, cool, wet, soft. Yang being assertive, hot, hard, outgoing, all that. And along with that idea, like the genitalia really paint the picture of the sort of spiritual mysteries lurking beneath the surface of the body. So the erect male penis is, of course, sticking out, going out to do something. It's rigid. It's not very flexible. It has, metaphorically speaking, you might say it has backbone or whatever. And then the aroused female vulva is wet, primarily wet, soft, warm, receptive, receiving, allowing in and receiving pleasure and expressing power through that receptivity. There is a lot of wisdom in that. So, going along with those yin and yang concepts, it makes sense that men get aroused more easily, more quickly. That going out, like making it happen. Men reach the sexual boiling point a lot quicker than women do. Women need more time to relax into the act of sexual arousal, and men can get there more quickly, but women, taking more time, have a higher peak than what men are generally capable of. So men might go from 0 to 100 real quick, but the woman has a lot more than 100 on her radar. She's able to get up to 1,000. It's gonna take her a minute to get there, but when she's there, the ride is gonna be, a lot more intense. So that really speaks to some of the responsibilities for men and women having heterosexual sex. A woman's primary responsibility to herself and to her partner in the act of sex is relaxation, like allowing the process of that gradual, steady build to happen. That cannot happen if the woman is overly tense, anxious, in her head for whatever reason. And conversely, the man's job in this act is to help the woman relax, to be fully present, to allow her to sort of trance out, go into her body instead of being in her head. And that man, taking his time, doing foreplay. We hear that. I think everyone has heard that wisdom, but it's honestly very difficult for men to follow that advice because we are so yang. Like, we get revved up just from the sight of something beautiful, and all women are beautiful, and we're ready to go. And it's like, now a race to the finish line for the man naturally. It takes a great deal of discipline. It takes a great deal of desiring to please his partner. It takes a great deal of practice for the man to be able to really control himself, control his energy, control his breathing, so he is able to take his time and be methodical about approaching the act of bringing a woman into full arousal, so that then he can ride her orgasmic wave. One of the best things a man can do, and that foreplay, that getting a woman to her level, is breast stimulation. There is a lot of truth to the concept of the heart chakra, like that whole chest, breast region in a woman's body is what we call in Tantra her positive pole. That is really where the magic starts in a woman's body when it comes to sexual arousal. Properly, like adroitly stimulating a woman's nipples, breasts, and even like when you develop the skill to do that kind of energy projection into a woman's breast area, all of that goes a long way toward really filling up the cup of her arousal, so that it can then spill over into the lower parts of her torso and her genitalia, crotch. You just got to do it, brothers. Like, you got to take your time. Just, you're going to get there. You're going to get yours. But in order to really get yours, you got to get her there first. Yeah, foreplay. Take your time. And, I talked about last week the benefit of a man averting his ejaculation. So when you take your time, build her up, the woman, like I said, has a higher plateau she's able to get to in terms of her sexual energy. And the reality of it is, like I mentioned, the woman's orgasm is essential in obtaining divine wisdom. Like, when a woman is fully there, fully in it, experiencing, minutes long orgasm and orgasmic states, her kundalini, her sexual energy, her cerebrospinal fluid, however you want to look at it, opens up parts of her brain that generally don't get opened up in any other way. And it opens up her ability to be a portal for the wisdom of the unseen. Like, this may sound crazy to some people, but this is as real as it gets. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you don't know, I promise you want to get to know about this, because this is truly amazing, and this is really the way human beings are made to optimally sexually function. A woman's full sexual arousal, which is facilitated by a man having the discipline and practice and technique to take his time and last long enough for the woman to get all the way there. Not only does it benefit her and her experience and having altered states of consciousness, but it also, as I said in the previous episode, boosts his testosterone levels when the man can learn how to separate his orgasm from his ejaculation and reach the brink of ejaculation and either allow the orgasm to happen while holding the ejaculation or just hold the whole reflex altogether. When that happens once or twice or 3 times or more during a sexual episode, it can boost the man's testosterone, 300, 400%, literally. And, that's the stuff that makes us manly. Our preponderance of testosterone compared to estrogen in our bodies is what produces all the things that we associate with being masculine and manly. Not the toxic part that we talk about these days, but the good stuff, the assertiveness, the propensity for competition and achievement, the ability to take responsibility for the protection and well-being of others. All this good stuff that we need a lot more of, especially in the Black community, but in the world in general. This comes from having sufficient levels of testosterone in the body, and this act of controlling ejaculation is really one of the most effective ways we have available to us to naturally boost our testosterone levels and keep them up so that we can stay accessing the fullness of our masculine energy. That's what this is all about. So there's mutual benefit to be gained from approaching sexuality in these ways. Women really prioritizing the relaxation, and that may mean like doing some mindfulness, breath work, stretching, yoga, meditation type practices prior to getting into the act of sex. It may mean some partnered, some mutual masturbation, or whatever your thing is, whatever is gonna get you into the space where you're able to fully get out of your head and into your body, focusing on exactly how good the sensations feel, and not thinking about the laundry list or do I look fat or whatever the case may be. Getting there, facilitated by both partners doing what they got to do, is where the magic happens, and where we as a people and as a species get the real spiritual benefits out of sexuality that we're meant to get based on how we're constructed. So I hope that was useful, and I look forward to really doing some workshops and things of that sort where I can really dig into these, sharing some of my personal experiences, and yeah, we'll see what the future holds. More to come on that.